Another dimension of the U.S.-Venezuela story is energy. Venezuela sits on some of the world's largest oil reserves, and U.S. Gulf Coast refineries are uniquely positioned to handle heavy crude like Venezuela's. While Florida is not a massive refining hub, its proximity to Gulf Coast refineries means it stands to benefit if more Venezuelan crude enters the U.S. supply chain. Challenges still exist since Venezuela's outdated oil infrastructure has been on a steady decline since the 1970s when it was at its peak of production. To break that down for us, we are joined via Zoom by Dr. Edward Glab, an energy policy expert at Florida International University, to talk about what this means for Florida's energy sector and beyond. Thank you, Dr. Glab, for joining us.
My pleasure. I'm happy to be here.
I'd like to start by asking you, how is it that the energy policy of the United States in Latin America, Venezuela in particular, how has that impacted the local economy of South Florida, West Central Florida, and how could that be impacted again depending on developments in Venezuela after the action of January the 3rd?
Well, that's a very good question because historically the oil business has been very, very good for South Florida. Historically, Venezuela, both Venezuela and Peru have been very important oil production centers, and the home offices for both IPC, the International Petroleum Company, which was a subsidiary of Exxon's Canadian affiliate, Imperial Oil, as well as Exxon's office is in Coral Gables, produce thousands, literally thousands of jobs.
Based on your experience, what would you say are the key factors, though, that would determine success or failure in redeveloping that oil industry in Venezuela?
You have to get the private oil sector involved. Nobody else has the money for this. Here's the way they do this analysis. Political risk and hurdle rates was one of my specialties. I did this all over the world. I didn't do it just in Latin America or Venezuela. If I'm sitting in the corporate headquarters of any of these big oil companies, I'm going to say to myself, what is the risk and what is the potential return? Is the juice worth the squeeze?
Realistically, how long, from your expertise, will it take Venezuelan oil production to increase in a way that's significant, that's meaningful?
Decades. Decades.